You asked, and now I'm going to deliver. Following all the discussions about super unhealthy relationships in Greek mythology, quite a few of you requested that we do a little video on some of the more healthy relationships in Greek mythology. Because funny enough, they do exist. And in light of the social climate right now, I can't not begin with Iphis and Ianthe, a beautiful love story about a trans man. Iphis, who was assigned female at birth, was brought up and socialized as a boy, and Iphis identified as a man. Iphis was promised to Ianthe, a beautiful woman in the area. They fell in love and they literally lived happy ever after. Funny that we have to go into ancient Greece to see examples of, treating trans people like humans. Next up, more heterosexual couples, Orpheus and Eurydice. Although this story does not have a happy ending, these two were very happily married and in love. When Eurydice died tragically, either by getting stung by a bee or bitten by a snake, Orpheus descended into the underworld. He did a literal catabasis. He charmed Persephone and Hades with his lyre playing and convinced them to let him take his wife Eurydice back to the real world. So, resurrecting the dead, that's how deep their love was. Except that it was on the condition that if he looked back, she would get sucked down into the underworld, and that's exactly what happened. Moving on to a queer myth. Now, I know that Apollo had lots of lovers, male and female, but he did have a very sweet relationship with a Spartan boy called Hyacinthus. They were very much in love. The only problem was that the god Zephyrus, the god of the west wind, was really jealous, and also Hyacinthus ended up dying in a game of discus. But they were cute. In another example of a deified union, wherein the husband does lots of cheating but the wife doesn't, but it's still a nice relationship, we've got Dionysus and his wife, the Cretan princess Ariadne. She had just been abandoned on an island by dirtbag Theseus, and Dionysus, whether he designed this abandonment or not, was there to pick up the pieces and console the young maiden. And ultimately they fell in love and got married, and then she became a goddess. And finally, potentially the only hero that never cheated on his wife, we actually have Perseus. Yes, he did kill Medusa, that's kind of unfair, but he saved Andromeda, who was about to be sacrificed by a giant sea monster. She was an Ethiopian princess, and Perseus was Greek. So even though they came from very different cultures, they fell in love and got married. And she and her family got turned into constellations. There are definitely more, but I've run out of time, so let me know if you'd like more.